Unveiling Cleopatra's Legacy, Power, Passion, and Politics.
But before we start, please support us by pressing like and subscribe buttons. Also turn on the bell notification to get the latest updates. Your support means a lot to us. Thank you.
In the pantheon of history's most iconic figures, few names shine as brightly, or as enigmatically, as Cleopatra VII, the last active ruler of the Ptolemaic Kingdom of Egypt. Born in 69 BCE and dying by her own hand in 30 BCE, Cleopatra has become more than a queen. She is a symbol of feminine power, political intrigue, and impassioned romance. Yet behind the layers of myth, drama, and tragedy lies a shrewd ruler, a skilled linguist, and a woman who wielded her intelligence and charisma to navigate the brutal currents of ancient geopolitics. Her legacy endures not merely because of who she loved, but because of how she ruled. The queen and her kingdom Cleopatra ascended to the throne at the age of 18, co-ruling with her 10-year-old brother Ptolemy I, as was customary in the Ptolemaic dynasty, which traced its lineage back to Ptolemy I, a general of Alexander the Great. Though Macedonian in origin, Cleopatra embraced Egyptian customs more fully than her predecessors. She was the first Ptolemaic monarch to learn the Egyptian language, and she adopted the religious and cultural symbols of her subjects, presenting herself as the reincarnation of the goddess Isis. Her reign began amidst a crumbling empire. Egypt, though rich in culture and tradition, was weakening under the pressure of Roman expansion. Civil unrest and external threats loomed large, and Cleopatra had to secure her position not only from external invaders, but from the internal strife of dynastic rivalry. Julius Caesar and the theater of power in 48 BCE, Cleopatra was ousted from the throne by her brother's advisors and forced to flee Alexandria. She would return with a bold strategy, aligning herself with the most powerful man in the known world, Julius Caesar. Legend tells us Cleopatra had herself smuggled into Caesar's quarters, rolled in a carpet, a story so dramatic that it has persisted through millennia. Whether it happened precisely this way or not, the effect was the same. Cleopatra captivated Caesar with her wit, intelligence, and ambition. Their alliance was not simply romantic, it was strategic. With Caesar's military backing, Cleopatra defeated her brother's forces and was restored to the throne, now co-ruling with another younger brother, Ptolemy XIV. In 47 BCE, Cleopatra bore Caesar a son, Caesarion, Ptolemy XV, whom she named co-ruler. The union scandalized Rome, where Caesar was already married, and where the idea of a foreign queen influencing Roman affairs stoked fears of tyranny. Still, Cleopatra visited Rome, resided in one of Caesar's villas, and participated in his political theater, a presence that unsettled many in the Senate. Following Caesar's assassination in 44 BCE, Cleopatra returned to Egypt, only to face new political uncertainties. With Caesar dead, the Roman world fractured, and Cleopatra would once again wield her influence to safeguard her reign. Mark Antony. Love and strategy. Enter Marcus Antonius. Mark Antony, the charismatic Roman general and member of the Second Triumvirate. In 41 BCE, Cleopatra met Antony in Tarsus. Their encounter, steeped in ceremony and seduction, was no mere dalliance. Cleopatra arrived on a golden barge, dressed as Aphrodite, goddess of love, dazzling Antony and drawing him into her orbit. Their relationship evolved into a profound partnership. Cleopatra and Antony shared not just love, but political ambition. She needed a Roman protector. He needed Egypt's wealth to fund his military campaigns. Together, they formed an alliance that shook the foundations of Roman politics. Cleopatra bore Antony 3 children and publicly emphasized their shared rule over the Eastern Roman territories, a move that antagonized Rome and especially Octavian, the future Augustus Caesar, Caesar's adopted heir and Antony's rival. Inside the 34 BCE, Antony and Cleopatra staged the Donations of Alexandria, a political spectacle in which Antony declared Cleopatra Queen of Kings and distributed lands to their children. To the Roman Senate, this was nothing short of treason. Octavian launched a propaganda war, portraying Cleopatra as a sorceress who had bewitched Antony and threatened the sanctity of Rome. The Fall of Titans. The conflict culminated in the Battle of Actium in 31 BCE. Octavian's forces, under the command of Agrippa, clashed with those of Antony and Cleopatra in a decisive naval engagement. Cleopatra, leading her own fleet, withdrew mid-battle, and Antony followed, an act seen as both impulsive and fateful. Defeated and disgraced, Antony and Cleopatra retreated to Alexandria. As Octavian closed in, rumors of Cleopatra's death drove Antony to take his own life. When Cleopatra learned of his fate, she famously arranged her own death, most likely by snakebite, though the method remains debated. In 30 BCE, the queen who had outmaneuvered empires, seduced titans, and ruled Egypt for over 2 decades, died beside her dreams of an independent East. Her son, Caesarion, was captured and executed by Octavian. Egypt was annexed into the Roman Empire, and the age of the pharaohs ended. Legacy beyond the myths. Cleopatra's story has been retold countless times, by Plutarch and Shakespeare, in Hollywood epics and modern biographies. Too often, she has been reduced to the trope of the femme fatale. Yet the real Cleopatra was more than her lovers. She was a polyglot fluent in at least 7 languages, a naval commander, an economist who stabilized Egypt's currency, and a diplomat who maintained her kingdom's independence for decades against insurmountable odds. Her reign marked the final chapter of ancient Egypt as a sovereign state. In the centuries that followed, Cleopatra became a canvas onto which different cultures projected their values and fears. The cunning seductress, the noble queen, the tragic heroine. But strip away the layers of legend, and what remains is a high ruler of remarkable intellect and vision. She challenged the patriarchal norms of her time, standing toe-to-toe with the most powerful men of the ancient world. Her political alliances were not driven solely by passion, but by a relentless determination to protect her people and her throne. She navigated a world where a misstep could mean annihilation, and for more than 2 decades, she played that dangerous game with cunning and courage. A woman for the ages today, Cleopatra's image endures not just in temples and coins, but in art, literature, and the collective imagination. She represents a fusion of power and passion, intellect and allure. Her life was a dramatic epic, one that transcended borders and redefined what it meant to rule. In a world that often sought to diminish women to the roles of wives or consorts, Cleopatra was a sovereign. She did not inherit her legacy. She carved it, fought for it, and died for it. Cleopatra's Egypt may have fallen, but her legacy remains etched in the annals of history. A queen whose power rivaled empires, whose voice resonated across continents, and whose story reminds us that leadership is not measured by longevity alone, but by the indelible mark one leaves on the world.
Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe if you like videos like this. Thank you.